Hey everybody, it's the Doctor here with Typical Manga Fan, and this episode of the Typical Manga Review will be dedicated to Attack on Titan Chapter 73, the recap episode. Well, seriously, the actual chapter title is The Town Where Everything Began, but it amounts to about the same thing. When we open to a shot where, like how the area within Wall Maria is like 1/3 of the land humanity has left. It still kind of boggles my mind just how big the area within these walls actually is. It kind of drives it home for me right here.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is, because then you think to yourself, oh, there's just it's kind of like just a small dome, but then you realize no, there's forests and mountains in between.
Right, and they make reference to the mountain in here too. But basically, the whole thing just talk about how, like when the territory was lost, it was like 5 years prior when the Titans attacked, and they received their grim reminder that the loss of human life and property was massive, and it only got worse from there because the two remaining walls. It was like it started making people start to lose hope.
I think the problem is that we often see the area from like a bird's eye view, so it looks small to us. But if you actually go closer, it's like encompassing 4 or 5 countries. I think the problem is the proportion actually was off when they because they occasionally do show the whole thing in the anime at least. I think they got the proportion really messed up. Like I don't think they got it right. Because when it looks way too small. But anyway. So then Aaron talks about how it seemed like we had no way of defeating them. Everything was lost, and then one boy had a small blade in his he held in his heart. It was used to stab a Titan to death, allowing humanity to stop his head.
But is that Aaron in that picture, or is that Mikasa?
Oh, that's Mikasa.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the one in the Titan's head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Mikasa.
And then we kind of start going like, some screamed pride, some screamed hope, some screamed rage, but they all screamed alike.
I have a question. Has Aaron actually ever killed a Titan without using his Titan powers?
Yes, they made a big deal of it the one time it actually happened.
What was that?
I forget the exact chapter. I think it was like right before we learned about the coordinate.
Okay, so he didn't, because I know he used the coordinate to kill the Smiling Titan, right?
Right, so, it was like right around that point. Like he actually somewhere around that point. Like he got a Titan kill on his own. He's like excited because it was his first kill as a human.
He is so morbid. He ends up being one of the most so useful and yet useless at the same time. It's amazing. Especially with his whininess too.
And now hopefully he's starting to get better about that. But
he better. I mean, I think he did. I mean, isn't that the whole point of the past few chapters to develop it?
And it's like if only Wall Maria could be retaken, is kind of where they are right now. So they're going through the forest at night. They're traveling through. They're being careful. They said they're keeping everything lit. They're kind of keeping track. They spot a Titan along the way, but it's dormant because it's nighttime.
Yeah. But thankfully it doesn't seem to be moving. So
Hange seems to take this as a further evidence of their theory that part of what actually moves them or what powers them is actually sunlight, and that the newer type Titans that they've met seem to be able to get by on moonlight, which is why they made it a point of waiting for a new moon for this part.
Yeah. Also, especially they show light on him. I mean, I've always wondered if you put light on them, wouldn't that kind of like stir them a little bit?
Maybe, but I think it has to be specifically sunlight.
Yeah, probably.
That's why moonlight works, because it's just bouncing off the sun anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so he talks about what do we fail and shit. Come on, be more sure of yourself, Aaron.
Well, and that's actually what comes up next here. Like him and Armin have a talk about what made them both kind of where they are now. Like Armin showed him the book that shows like the world outside the walls. And it's what made Aaron realize that he is not free. Like he was not free.
Yeah, and how saying Armin's talking about how he should have never sacrificed himself, and that Aaron now actually talks to Armin about what he remembered, which is we as the audience we saw that too, where he remembered about trying to go to the outside of the walls, having a dream, and how happy they were. And that he realized that they've been living in a birdcage. They were never really free.
Right. This is like how he came to have that viewpoint.
And that he could never forgive those people, the people who entrapped them in these walls. Yep. So now he's like, okay, I'm getting stronger now. Yeah, thanks for that. I'm better now.
Yeah, the talk kind of helped them both. It looks like.
Yeah.
And then they start reaching familiar territory. Like Mikasa starts recognizing the surroundings, and they realize that they've now reached their old hometown.
Yeah, specifically, they're right now they're at the place where the armor Titan broke through.
Yep.
So now they're they're rushing. All the horses are starting to go at full speed, and they're like, begin the operation. Everyone switch to vertical movement.
Yep, and then that thing basically like, shoot themselves up as onto the top of the wall, basically.
Oh, I just realized I never finished the chapter. I thought I did. Everything else would be blind.
All right then. Well, blind for you anyway.
Yeah, for me, yeah.
At this point, they're kind of going over the plans himself. Like Erwin's kind of thinking to himself the basic plan. The enemy's goal is to capture Eren. They don't know if they aren't sure if they're aware he has the ability to close the wall now, but they do know that he should eventually show up here for the basement if nothing else.
Yeah, but then they see something. What do they see?
And also, actually, real quick, that's also where they're all in hoods, all traveling identically. Basically, just a way of making sure that they can't identify Eren specifically.
Yeah.
That's why they made a big deal earlier about using Eren's name out loud.
Yeah. But yeah, they noticed Bertold and Reiner
have been there because Armin finds like a campfire.
Yeah. Which we saw like in the last chapter, I think, the end of the last chapter.
Yep.
And then now he's like, Eren's like, wait, my home's right around here. And he's like, okay, I can do it. But then Hans notices something interesting. There's not a single Titan here.
Nope, nowhere to be found. There's not anyone anywhere. The place is completely deserted.
Yep. So Eren's like, first off, I think it was Hans is like, no, we have to still continue operation, even though it's probably a trap. And Eren's like, I can do it. No, we can do it. Yep. Okay, we got enough of the speeches and all that, of the monologues. Yep, and in fact, actually, I want to note that every time he does this thing, someone dies. So stop doing that, Eren. Because you know,
they live dangerous lives, so it's not like it's unexpected.
No, but it's like everything goes wrong. Not just people died, like everything goes wrong.
Yep.
Like the first time he did it, practically everyone died. The second time he did it, I think was with the squad, like the elite squad.
Right.
And then everyone dies.
Yep.
Anyway, let's calm down a bit, Eren.
Yeah, and then the final page of the chapter, basically, like we see Reiner and Bertolt somewhere inside, like peeking outside, watching them.
Yeah. The Survey Corps have vowed to be victorious, but a carefully laid trap awaits them. So yeah, it's a trap, obviously.
Yeah. Of course, they're aware that there could be some kind of trap, but I just don't think they realize the full scope because they aren't aware of the Beast Titans' involvement.
Yeah, he's probably controlling the Titans to make them like take on a tactical formation and hiding.
Yeah, or at least keep them out of the way.
Yeah, and then my guess is that the Colossal Titan will be there to just block their exit, while the Armor Titan and then the other Titans will be there for the attack. Because again, I don't see the Colossal Titan being the quickest one, so it's gonna have to be like a. Oh yeah, well yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I was just being coy with my words, but yeah. So he's obviously the slowest one that we know of, and so he's just gonna probably just stand there and make sure no one runs away.
Yep.
But it's actually, I do want to still point out that it's interesting that we have not seen Bertolt transform into Colossal Titan. There might be something interesting about that.
Yeah. Well, we haven't really seen them transform since the last time we saw them.
Well, I mean, we saw Reiner transform once, but we've never seen Bertolt transform at all.
Oh, like he always transformed off screen?
Yeah, he transformed off screen. Yeah. So it was kind of interesting that, you know. Do you think maybe there's a reason for that?
Probably just because he's so big and it helps with the entrance.
Probably. I've always thought that maybe because he can only transform to the Colossal Titan only a few times, and maybe there's something special about it. Because like, to be able to transform to something that big, I mean that takes something special.
Yeah, maybe it's painful. Maybe it's a painful transformation, or something else goes on with it.
No, it seems like he takes all the skin and all the everything like quote unquote extra. He like puts into his size. It's like it's all about size. It's about nothing else. Which again makes it really bad for battle. And whereas with the Armor Titan, he's I think they say he's slower than the other Titans.
His main defense is the fact that he's so damn hot when things get close to him.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about Rhino or Bertolt?
The Colossal Titan, whichever one.
Oh yeah, that's Colossal. Okay, I was talking about Armored, but yeah.
Armor Titan, okay.
The Armor Titan's too slow. I mean, it's not slow.
Well,
too slow.
Probably because of the armor.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said that was because of the armor. And that's so you can see that there's weaknesses to everyone's advantages. Actually, I like that. I like that because I hate overpowered people. But I like
Ymir was like the opposite. Like she was agile and fast, but maybe not like the most powerful one.
Yeah. Annie was the most balanced. She was the best fighter, but she had the crystallization ability. So and you can even argue that Annie's the strongest of them, other than the Ape Titan probably. Who probably has the other coordinator? Maybe there's more than one.
Yeah. Well, at the very least, he can make Titans obey him in some way, at least in some limited way.
Yeah. Okay. So that's about it for this chapter.
Yeah, like I said, there's not a gigantic amount going on. Like I said, it largely serves as a recap episode.
Yeah.
It really does.
To everyone reading or listening, I actually just read this chapter like 30 minutes ago, and I only read half of it, or not half, like three quarters of it.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, though, it does serve as a good A to B type chapter. Like we are at Walmaria now. We are at the place where we might finally start getting a look at that basement sometime in the next few chapters.
Yeah, I forgot what was our theories again. I remember saying like it's probably the formula, it's probably like the history or something.
Formula, some information about that. Maybe that book of Aaron's grandfathers or something might be in there. Armin's grandfather, rather.
Oh yeah, it's probably like yeah. I don't know. There was a word I was going to use, but nah, I don't. It's probably like a treasure cove or something. I don't know. But yeah. It's what did they call that? I forgot what they call those. I was thinking of like how in some Big Brother societies there's always like a room that's all this illegal shit. Is that what they call that?
Like a contraband room or something?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, that's the word I wanted to use.
Yeah. That's very possible. Like maybe Grissa has information about the world outside that nobody else is aware of. Maybe he's the source of that book of Armin's grandfather had.
It's been taken over the world by what? What has it been taken over by?
Titans.
Maybe something else, something worse.
Mines. Like I said, that would be worse.
What was that thing? Oh, Furbies. Furbies.
Oh.
That too.
Gremlins.
Gremlins. Oh my gosh, that's what the world's. And the Titans we use as defense against them. Actually, that is a theory I've had on just in general, that the Titans were actually a defense for humanity that keeps them in one place. There's one that's either either a double-edged sword or that didn't quite work as planned. Yeah, but what the hell could be worse than a Titan?
Something that does more than just eat you.
Oh, it's interesting though. It seemed like, but I think the original thing I had was that the king, that the regional king thought that humanity did something really awful, so he seek to punish them by fencing them like like animals. That's what I thought. Or
the opposite. He's seeking to protect the world from humanity.
Well, I mean, remember what happened when Frida went was it Frida or Frida? I forgot which one. I think it's Frida. Frida went. Yeah. Frida. If the E is the second vowel, then it's Frida. Frida went all that whole that thing with Krista, with Historia, where she's like you should never cross the fence. You have to stay in there because you're sheep. You don't deserve to be out here. So I think.
Oh yeah, you remember that? Yeah,
I think that was what I constantly remember as he probably thought that humanity did something really bad, and it's like punishing them. Like this is a prison to make sure that they don't do anything bad again.
Probably. Yeah, so he's basically protecting the world from humanity in that case.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm wondering if maybe the world is like. Maybe the world is like just is nothing out there other than animals and like because humans are not there anymore. The cities are gone, but that the forest gets to regrow. So he's like maybe like pro nature. So like maybe the Mother Nature is like taking over the world again, and maybe he's okay. I'll let you humans have like this small spot, but you're not allowed to leave because you can destroy the world like a cancer. So yeah. I'm thinking that might be it. It's a conservationist to the max.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, but like I said, that's pretty much the chapter at this point. There's not really too much to this one as far as like meat to go over, like stuff to theorize about.
Yeah,
but at the very least, we've got ourselves we're in business. So like we are at the next chapter should be a lot of action, a lot of stuff going on now to make up for it.
I'm thinking maybe not next chapter, but like the chapter after next. I feel like the next chapter is gonna have them like walking around a bit, and then these guys come out at like the very end. I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, it could be or midway through.
Maybe I'm interested because right now I'm in the mindset of the weekly chapters, but maybe the monthly chapters are a little faster, so maybe.
Well, if nothing else, there's more in the monthly chapters.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of, yeah, maybe we'll see.
Yep.
I know with the weekly chapter, they definitely won't attack next chapter.
Oh yeah, if it were weekly, no question. Like I said, with the monthly, I would say maybe if not at the end, then probably halfway through at the earliest.
Yeah, I'm thinking of halfway. I think that's the best answer.
Yep.
All right, so
I think that gives us everything we need to hear for this week's chapter of Attack on Titan, chapter 73. Let's see. Nothing. You said you didn't have anything else you wanted to add there, right?
Nope.
Right there. Yep. Attack on Titan, Chapter 73, The Town Where Everything Began, which is where we are now. Go ahead and take us away.
Bye!